Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
Also, if you're looking for a unique gift for the holiday season, check out the Compliance Kids series. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Daily Compliance News for December 19, 2024, the Prison Labor Edition. We begin with that story from the New York Times as a supplier, a Hyundai supplier in Alabama, has ended a prison labor contract because it was found to be involuntary servitude. What does that sound like? Slave labor. Well, at least the contract was terminated. So when you think we have problems with this issue internationally, better look inside the U.S. borders. Next up from the Financial Times, the corporate culture section, Pelita Clark in a op-ed piece on the power of praise, recognizing good work is cheap, effective, and not nearly done as much as it should be in the office place. So what do you think of? Do you praise your employees? Why not? Well, maybe you should. Next up, in a really interesting article from the Wall Street Journal CFO Journal, Mark Maurer asks, does Macy's $151 million accounting error even matter? Macy's decision not to withdraw old financial statements despite making these adjustments has many scratching their heads. The retailer said last month that an employee responsible for small package delivery expense accounting intentionally made erroneous bookkeeping entries from 2021 forward. Macy said an internal investigation had found no material impact nor the need for restatements. The errors did not affect net sales, vendor payments, operating cash flows, or compliance with debt covenants. So, no harm, no foul. Let's be nice. Talk about a rounding error. And our final story comes to us also from the Wall Street Journal, this time from the World section. Nancy Youssef and Chun-Hung Wang reporting that corruption is threatening China's military readiness. This is something we obviously saw in Russia, where corruption completely eviscerated the Russian army in the early stages of the Ukraine war. And now China is worried that the corruption in its military will make it really not ready for, no doubt, its pushes against Taiwan under the second Trump administration, and indeed confrontation with the United States if Trump moves in that direction. So corruption continues to bedevil communist or former communist militaries, and it is hurting their readiness. And at the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.